Welcome to another edition of Biblical Errancy Commentary, the series that takes a critical look at Scripture, pointing out its numerous errors, contradictions, and fallacies. This program teaches a kind of Sunday school in reverse by giving you the biblical information that you should have heard but didn't. With millions of Americans hearing a totally one-sided presentation of the Bible, balance is greatly needed. Only when people are given both sides of an issue can a truly objective analysis be possible. And here to provide the alternative perspective is the editor of Biblical Errancy newsletter, Mr. Dennis McKenzie.
Welcome to the 58th edition of Biblical Errancy Commentary. We're pleased you've joined us. This is the 7th program in our series on the Bible's attitude toward major social issues. So far, we've analyzed abortion, alcohol, anti-Semitism, children, communism, capital punishment, cannibalism, divorce, gambling, human sacrifice, anti-intellectualism, homosexuality, pro-intellectualism, intolerance, lending, and nationalism, all of which brings us to our 17th topic of social concern, polygamy. Many people condemn the practice of polygamy as repugnant, if not immoral. In fact, the admission of the state of Utah into the Union was held up until the Mormons officially repudiated this practice. Utah became a state in 1896 only after the policy had been changed by its clerical political leaders. In order to defend this practice, Mormons have repeatedly invoked the Bible. And unfortunately for biblicists opposed to polygamy, the Bible not only fails to condemn this practice, but lends considerable support to its legitimacy. Many of the Old Testament heroes, the patriarchs, had numerous wives. Biblical backing for polygamy is not hard to find, although Mark Twain is reported to have denied its validity to a Mormon. The Mormon claimed polygamy was perfectly moral, and he challenged Twain to cite one passage in Scripture that forbid it. "Well," said Twain, "how about that passage that tells us no man can serve two masters at the same time?" On a more serious note, key verses and individuals supporting polygamy are Judges 8:30, which says, "Gideon had 70 sons of his body begotten, and he had many wives." 1 Kings 11:3 says of Solomon, "He had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines." Genesis 31:17 says, "Jacob rose up and set his sons and his wives upon camels." Genesis 36:6 says, "Esau took his wives and his sons and his daughters." And 2 Chronicles 11:21 says, "Rehoboam loved Maacah, the daughter of Abraham, above all his wives and his concubines," unquote. But undoubtedly, the most prominent polygamist is the Old Testament patriarch David. He's crucial to this discussion not only because 2 Samuel 5:13, David took more concubines and wives out of Jerusalem, and 1 Chronicles 14:3, David took more wives at Jerusalem, not only because these verses show he had many wives, but also because a wide assortment of verses show he was the essence of moral rectitude. 1 Samuel 25:28 says, "Because my Lord," and it's talking about David, "fights the battles of the Lord, and evil hath not been found in him all his days." 2 Samuel 19:27 says, "But my Lord the king," that is David, "is as an angel of God." 1 Kings 15:3 says, "He," that is Abijam, "his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, as was the heart of his father David." And Acts 13:22 says, "I," this is God speaking, "have found David the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart, which shall fulfill all my will." Unquote. One could also read 1 Kings 9:4, 11:4, 11:6, 15:11, and Nehemiah 12:36 to see that David was right with the Lord. If David was an angel of God, in whom evil hath not been found all the days of his life, if his heart was perfect with the Lord, and he was a man after God's own heart, it's virtually impossible to make a biblically based argument worthy of serious consideration that condemns polygamy. David lived after the old law in general, and the Ten Commandments in particular have been passed. So there's little reason to believe that he violated any of God's laws by having many wives. After all, Scripture clearly states in 1 Kings 15:5 that David did that which was right in the eyes of the Lord and turned not aside from anything that he, that is God, commanded him all the days of his life, except in the matter of Uriah the Hittite. Moreover, Deuteronomy 21:15-16 not only doesn't condemn polygamy, but actually provides rules by which the sons of one's wives are to be treated. Even if New Testament teachings opposing polygamy could be produced, they would be all but worthless, since they would only prove that God had changed his mind in regard to what was moral. While moral in the Old Testament, polygamy would have become immoral in the New. In effect, morals would be changing with time, and biblicist would be hard-pressed to reconcile this with Malachi 3:6, in which God says, "I am the Lord, I change not." They'd also have a problem reconciling it with situation ethics, which they deplore. The only verse that seems to outlaw polygamy, Deuteronomy 17:17, which says, "Neither shall he multiply wives to himself," that verse appears to be applicable only to one individual in a particular situation. So in conclusion, if you're opposed to polygamy, don't expect to get much help from the Bible. In any event, we can now move on to our next social problem, poverty. Besides these periodic sexual revelations of prominent televangelists such as Baker and Swaggart, one of the most revealing displays of Christian hypocrisy lies in the whole arena of wealth and poverty. You don't have to read very far into the New Testament to see that in order to satisfy the Bible, a true Christian would have to be as poor as the proverbial church mouse. The importance of adhering to a vow of poverty is cited again and again by Scripture, and there can be no debate about the meaning of the text. What is required of all true Christians is abundantly evident, and the reading out of context defense simply won't save the day. Lavish cathedrals, private jets, expensive automobiles, luxurious homes, costly clothes, bulging bank accounts, and the finest cuisine are only some of the items possessed by many Christian leaders today, proving beyond any doubt that many of Christ's followers have departed dramatically from New Testament teachings and have no intention of returning the same.